Alright, welcome back everybody. It's Cole's Farm, North Carolina. It's April 22nd, just after 2 o'clock. It's about 86 degrees. This will be our week 4 inspection. We're actually 6 days, we're back at the bee yard 6 days after the last inspection. What's different this week is that the blackberries are in bloom, which I'll show you in a second, and we'll take a short break and open up the hive. So you can see all the blackberry vines blossoming, and then everything else you see around here, the majority is gallberries. And the hive has some gallberries right at the entrance. The wood that you see on the ground there, basically I got that from a pallet from work, and it has some nails that are sticking up, and my idea was, after reading an article, this is a good way, or another way, to act as a deterrent for skunks and other rodents that like to consume bees. I also use it as a measure to determine how many bees are dying in the hive and being dragged out. But, you know, it's not 100% because if anything's coming through in the night and eating them, you know, all you see now is that there aren't any bees there when, you know, there very well could be. So we'll take a quick break and get into the hive. This was a good tip from my mentor Dave last week. Basically, he just has note cards on them, and when you're managing more than one hive, it's probably pretty useful, but it's fairly easy to remember right now, week to week. So last week, April 16th, we saw the queen. It had spotty brood, which is something I'm going to be checking today. Had some honey stored in a few of the frames, added another deep, and, you know, to come back this week and inspect those very things. Alright, well, this is frame number 1 from the top brood chamber. We have bees on it. Nothing's drawn out, and this was sprayed with syrup last week. Frame number 2, we got some comb or wax on the bottom, but, you know, not a whole lot going on. This is a good sign. Frame number 3. They're starting to draw out some of the wax. So if this doesn't progress, you know, it's probably going to take them a few weeks, if not the better part of a month, to draw these frames out. But the good sign is they are finding nectar. Not so much wax being drawn out on this. They are filling in the gaps though. This is the same frame from last week where they were drawing out the wax in a weird pattern, and it looks like they've continued to do so. So not too much going on with this. Now this frame has some weight to it, and it honestly looks like the brood pattern is not getting better, so I think I'm gonna call Floyd today and ask him to come out and look at it and possibly replace the queen. I don't think she's doing all that great. Oh, there's the queen right there, so that's a good sign I spotted her. She's still doing her thing, but very spotty pattern. Frame number 4, we spotted the queen on frame number 3. You know, they're doing a good job of storing honey. The brood pattern's still spotty. I don't visibly see mites on the bees, which is something I forgot to mention. I pulled the I pulled the checkerboard on Thursday. And my wife and I think we counted 67 mites. We think we counted 67 mites, but we're not entirely sure because that was our first time doing a mite inspection. And I'm going to have Dave come out and reassess next week. So I'm going to put the board back in on Wednesday and pull it on Saturday with them. Now this looks nice. I mean, this is a lot of stored honey that they've actually started to cap, which makes sense because it's frame number 5 right in the middle of the brood chamber. And I believe we marked this one, but this has a lot of stored honey. I don't think this queen's really performing that well. I'm not seeing a lot of brood, a lot of capped brood. So I think I'm gonna push towards replacing her. This is frame 7, so they're definitely bringing in food source because they're storing the nectar, and there's capped honey. But I kind of anticipated things looking a little better at week 4. again, this is a lot of nectar and starting to cap it as honey, but no real brood. Frame number 9, they're starting to close out the corner. So I mean, they're still building comb and everything, but there's really not much of anything going on. What was that? Something caught my eye that looked odd, but not sure what that was now. And frame number 10 again, nectar and some capped honey. They're building up what they need to survive, but the queen's not touching the outside 4 frames really at all. There's only 1 or 2, maybe 3 good frames of brood. Take a listen to this. Take a listen to this. Well, that took about 30 minutes. I don't want to say I'm disappointed, but I think I had bigger expectations than that were reasonable for a week after adding the second deep. They are drawing out some of the comb. They are building new wax and everything, so I mean that's a good sign. They're finding the nectar they need to build the wax, which are all good things. Found the queen on the third frame, which is where she tends to hang out. So not necessarily in the very center of the colony, but on the third frame. And there's only a few solid frames of good brood drawn out. Very spotty pattern, which it's hard to say if they're pulling out cap brood that have too many mites. It's not very clear because there's not a lot of bees lying outside the hive that are dead, or the larvae that were pulled out before they could actually hatch. So I'm going to get with Dave later today. I'm going to send him a picture and probably ask Floyd to come out tomorrow to look at it himself and kind of assess the situation. So it's still, there's still a probability that I'm going to replace the queen here soon if Floyd kind of sees that she's not laying as good as she could. 4 weeks later, I think the brood should be built up a lot more than it is. But like I said, I'm going to get with Floyd and kind of see what he thinks. So thanks for watching. This was week 4 at Cole's Farm, North Carolina. We'll have another video. We'll have week 5 coming to everybody in 6 to 7 days. So next Saturday or next Sunday. Thanks for watching.